What's going on, everybody? This is not your boy Tommy on the spot, but it is his main man Steve coming to you live from Orlando. And this is my first solo video in what I hope to be a series. We're going to be calling it Disney Run 01. See what we did there? Yeah. Yeah. The inspiration for this vlog is basically going to be my own personal training because I took the plunge and I'm going to be running the next Run Disney event that's coming up in November. It's the Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon. The 10K is going to be on November 2nd, that's a Saturday, and then the half marathon is going to be on Sunday, November 3rd. So I'm doing the two-course challenge. There is a 5K along with it that Friday, November 1st, but actually all of the individual races are all sold out right now, unfortunately. But the two-course challenge, that's still open, of course, if you're looking to do that. So keep an eye out. Of course, even if you are looking to do one of those individual races, just like most things Disney, just because it's sold out right now doesn't mean it might not come up in the future. So definitely keep an eye out on the Run Disney website. That's my little disclaimer. This is going to kind of be, this is the first video. This is kind of going to be a quick introduction. Number one, why I run in the first place, and also why I like to do Run Disney events. So just getting started by why I like to run personally. Number one, of course, it's physical fitness. I kind of ebb and flow sometimes when it comes to actually working out. Sometimes I drag my heels a little bit, but running to me is one of the best things. Personally, one of my favorite things that I like to do when I'm trying to get into shape, again, after I've fallen off the wagon a little bit. So that's number one. But number two, and I think actually probably is a bigger reason, is my mental health. I deal with a lot of, anxiety and stress, just like everybody else does. And I think, running is a very positive way for myself, and I know a few other people that use it kind of to de-stress, especially, when you're just out there by yourself, if you got lit music on or something like that, just out there moving, it's a great de-stressor. And I know just sometimes just thinking about it makes me feel better, like, oh, I'm going for a run tonight or something like that. It really helps me, calm down, relax after a stressful day, something like that. Just go run until I'm tired enough where I can't walk. that's a great de-stressor for me. And specifically why I like to do Run Disney events. Run Disney, even if you've done other races, other, 10Ks, 5Ks, half marathons, whatever, if you've done any of those kind of organized races, you've done the rest, but Run Disney is, to me, it's one of the best experiences. It's the difference as far as anything else that Disney does that is a non-Disney thing versus, what our Disney-like event is. So think about going to a different theme park that's not a Disney theme park, going to, a different cruise that's not a Disney cruise, that kind of thing. It's that Disney difference that we all kind of know, and Run Disney events are definitely no different than that. So it's that one-of-a-kind atmosphere. Of course, you're going to get exclusive content. So while you're running the races themselves, you have a lot of unique meet and greet opportunities that you don't normally get in other places. I apologize for my dog Stella. But you get other experiences that you don't get anywhere else, and that is true for most things Disney related. And like I said, Run Disney is no different. Of course, it's a big motivation for me to make sure that I can, I've signed up, I've took the plunge, I'm doing it. So, that especially doing the challenge where you're doing a 10K and then a half marathon back to back, that's a big leap. And, for Run Disney, it is a significant investment monetary as well. So, it's like, okay, well, I got to make sure that I make this worth my while, right? And that's kind of, the motivation for me to say, okay, I got to do this, and I'm going to do it right, which is also kind of partially why I started doing this video diary too, to kind of say, okay, well, I got to start doing it because I have this video diary to go and do, and I also got this 10K and this half marathon to do. so the motivation, of course, the one-of-a-kind swag. I have some examples, just a few of the different medals that you get. Of course, I'm wearing the Star Wars T-shirt as well that you get for doing it. But some, so for example, this is the Princess 5K from 2018, so last year's Princess 5K featuring Rapunzel, my wife's personal favorite, of course. Got some other ones. This is actually from the 10K that I did this year. This is the Princess Mulan, the 10K featuring Mulan. Was definitely listening to "I'll Make a Man Out of You" towards the end of that race. It's one of my favorite running songs to begin with, but I usually put it towards the end of my playlist, so it just gives me that little motivation. Let's see what else we got. Actually, this is from the Wine and Dine Half Marathon from 2015. Again, that's actually my wife's medal, and it's backwards, but get the idea. Like, these are some really legit cool medals. This is actually from the inaugural 10K from 2016 for Star Wars. Have a bunch of those, but just a taste of the hardware that you get. And you actually, when you're doing multiple races and the challenges, they do stack. So if you're, for example, like I'm doing the 2-course challenge in November, so I'm getting a 10K medal, I'm getting the half marathon medal, and then there's an additional challenge medal, just like this one. This is actually the Disney Fairy Tale Challenge that was from a couple of years ago. So that is for doing the 10K and the half marathon for the Disney Princess races that are usually in February sometime. It's really, you don't necessarily want to do it just for the medals, but it's definitely an awesome, especially when you're going and walking around the parks after you've finished everything and you have everybody walking around clanking with those medals, and everybody's going like, "Oh, congratulations," and taking the pictures everywhere with showing off all of your bling. It's just like when you're at Disney wearing that happy birthday button or that happy anniversary button, but it's this kind of achievement that you really put a lot of effort into. And that's actually another reason why I love to do Run Disney events, is that, runner's high is a real thing, and that exhilaration that you get that comes from overcoming that kind of challenge. There's a quote from I don't want to call it an old movie because that's dating myself too, but this movie, Green Street Hooligans, it's actually with Elijah Wood and a very young Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy, but it's a line in the movie that Elijah Wood says, and it's, "Once you've taken a few punches and realize you're not made of glass, you don't feel alive unless you're pushing yourself as far as you can go." And he's talking about legitimate punching because they're a bunch of soccer hooligans, so it's actual legitimate punching. But I always take it metaphorically to mean, once you've overcome some sort of obstacle and realized that you can do that, you're not yourself unless you're pushing yourself as far as you can go. And I used to dread running. I used to dread that feeling of, I have to wake up so early and do this run, and especially for a Run Disney, because they are super early. You have to get there at like 4 o'clock sometimes, and that's in the morning, because when you're in Florida, you don't want to run at any time when the sun is up, because no matter when it is, it's probably going to be really hot. So, you normally want to get out there as early as possible. So they're really early, and, that stress of, some people don't like the stress of, oh man, I have to do this 16-minute mile, otherwise I'm going to get picked up and I'm not going to get my medal and stuff. But I kind of liken it a lot of times, especially that building anticipation before they call your corral. It's almost like being on a roller coaster during that lift hill when you're right up at, right before that big drop. I used to dread that too. But now I love roller coasters too, with that exhilaration feeling of, that feeling that you've actually accomplished something, and that adrenaline that's pumping, that is one of my favorite things. Once you've crossed that finish line and you feel that just overwhelming feeling of accomplishment, there's absolutely nothing like it in the running world, especially when you've done any sort of goal that you've met, whether you are, you were never able to finish a 5K before, and now you've done it, and your time for a 5K is an hour, and you got under an hour for the 5K, or maybe it's you wanted to finish under an hour for a 10K. That was my goal last year, and I did it, and I felt exhilarated, and I just felt that just sense of accomplishment, and to me, there's nothing like it. So that's why I run, and that's why I like to do Run Disney events specifically. And I think in later episodes we're going to get more into what it's like to do a Run Disney event. How you want to start preparing and that kind of thing. And it's also going to be my own personal goals and my own progress and that kind of thing. How I'm gearing up for it and how I'm personally preparing and that kind of thing. So that's kind of the taste of what you're in store for in the next few weeks. Hopefully it actually is the whole 6 months, because we're about 6 months away now. So we'll see what happens when all is said and done and all the smoke is cleared. But for now, I'll leave you with that. And as always, we'll see you real soon. Have a magical week.